What's up, what's up? John Melton coming to you live with mylifestyleacademy.com because I want you to be able to read the words on my shirt. And guys, listen, I want you to understand that Christine has built, like I said, a multi-million-dollar business over the course of 10 years. Not only has she made millions, not only has she had a lot of success, but she's helped. This is what's most important to me. She's helped a ton of people have success inside of this incredible profession. And she has an organization, like I said, of over 200,000 people. I'm so excited to have you here.
I got big hair, and I thought I'd do like this.
Oh, yes.
It's not the real thing, though, because people can get theirs in your social media pack, right?
This is true.
Spray. But I was trying to be like Nadya with the spraying in the face because I was desperate to know what that was. So I'm pretending.
So I would love for you to share, because obviously we've just got to know each other through Chalene Johnson and Bob Heilig. You know, we got a chance to speak at your incredible event just a couple weeks ago, the Platinum Edge event, which is your generic network marketing event for people that are building home-based businesses. And it was off the hook. Even though we could only be there for one day, I could tell that you know what you're doing. You've been doing this for quite some time now, and you've had a lot of success helping others, which is what we're all about with the My Lifestyle Academy page, with our audience. We're always trying to give back to the community. You know, I've been in network marketing now myself for 17 years. And over the last decade, we've been full-time and have had a lot of fun, a lot of success. But over the last 5 or 6, we really try to help our audience of network marketers, people that are in the home-based business industry, really help them with the right mindset and skill set to build a business the right way in 2018 and beyond. So just excited to have you here, and would love for you to start off with your story, because I know it's incredible.
Well, thanks so much. And that's why I love both you and Nadya, because you're both really down to earth and you really are a generous couple. Both of you are very generous in different ways. And that honestly is a great place to stand from, especially when you're getting into network marketing, because many times people go into it and they look at it as, I need to be successful. I need to hurry up and do this. And it's kind of a me-centered direction. And it can drive you into a corner where you then will never move forward in your success, because it's about, I got to move forward. So thank you so much for, first of all, speaking at the Platinum Edge. It definitely was one of the highlights. People were like screaming and loving you guys. All they stopped talking about you. I was so happy to have you all there, and honestly, just fitting it into your busy schedule. I really appreciate it. But like John said, I just kind of got to know them. My first introduction to them was last April when I was at Bob Heilig's event he had it in Florida at the time. And that's where these two came on stage, and immediately I'm like this. And Chalene Johnson is a friend of mine, and I looked at her, she looked at me, and we're like, oh my gosh. We just knew you guys are our people, and that's kind of what you want to look for when you're, you know, building a business, is people who are like you and have obviously a lot in common, but people get it. You know, they don't take life so seriously. And I wasn't that person when I first started. I'm not a person that came out from nowhere and had huge success. I really was scared, I think, if you would kind of make an easy word, that I was scared to fail and to prove to other people that I couldn't do it. And I'm not a person, by the way, I'm not a person that stands from that motto of, oh, you think I can't do it? I'm going to do it. I don't like that motto. I think, like, you should prove it to yourself if you want to do it. You don't have to show other people. But I was responsible for other people, and from my upbringing, I came from nothing, youngest 4 girls, very poor growing up, that we were always in a place of getting approval by doing work. So that was my foundation, that I would only get, you know, positive from my father if I did great work. Or when we were delivering papers the fastest, I'd get, you know, a cheer. So that's kind of always been the way that I've gotten approval. And when I started this, it wasn't my wheelhouse. I accidentally found myself in my 20s in a huge hotel room with all these people. And I was like, what is this? You can make lots of money? What is this? I had no idea what it was. And it was a network marketing business of sorts. I don't even know.
How many people were there?
The room was so full, like thousands, I would say thousands or 2,000s. It was different.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember. This is way back in my 20s. I'm mid 40s now. But there were like multiple businesses being presented. So it wasn't one, it was like, all right, and then you could do this business.
Really?
Yeah, it was weird. I don't know. I was desperate for money.
Yeah.
Let me figure this out. But
I'll join all of them. Oh, wait, they cost money to join? I'll join none of them.
yeah, I had no money, but the one that struck me was this one about putting gumball machines in all like door restaurants and stuff, and you can become a
Oh,
millionaire.
that's great.
Yeah. So I was like, I love sugar. I totally am going to do great at this. And I bought the $700 cassette package, you know, with a book. Did you have that back in the day when you first started, the book of cassettes?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course. Yes.
That's what I bought for $700 on my credit card. Didn't have that money, of course, and I didn't jump in with it. And then months passed, I pulled it out. I was like, what is this? Contacted the company, and the company was gone. So that was my first experience.
Wow.
With this. And then seeing my sisters in a certain other MLM, they're very successful, but they were constantly giving away product, you know, and I was like, they're losing money. I never wanted to do a home business ever. But oddly enough, I was doing a home business without even knowing it. And that was as an independent contractor with Chalene Johnson, I was training the people to work for her to be kind of an example of her as they went around in her fitness company and certified people. So I was doing a business for myself, but it wasn't in network marketing. Initially, though, when I was introduced about network marketing, I said no, because I thought it was so stupid and I didn't want to be trapped with any product or any of that stuff. But then a year later, Chalene is the one that actually put it back in front of me and said, you should consider this. And I was like, for real? And here's the kicker. So I was working for her company full time, and I managed all of like 60 plus people. I would train them and be responsible for them generating income for the company. She told me to do this. That's kind of weird that your boss would tell you to get another job to do this on the side. And now I'm so grateful for it, because I didn't know that she had plans to sell her company. And if I didn't do this when I did, I would be back traveling medical x-ray, because I used to be an x-ray tech in applications. So things align for a reason. People come into your life for a reason. And back then, 2008, I just studied my butt off trying to figure out what this is. I even flew out to the company and interviewed them to figure this all out. I really wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to tell people to do something that I wasn't supporting, and jumped in. I was 5 months pregnant. I had a 1.5-year-old son. I had a full-time job, and I had 3 fitness part-time jobs. My husband just coming off from being laid off again. He worked was gone for 12 hours a day. But that's how I started.
Where were you living at the time? Were you in Texas then?
No. I'm a Northeast girl. I don't know if you guys can hear my mutt accent from Canada sometimes, Midwest sometimes, New York sometimes. I'm a mutt. So we were in Rochester, New York, and that's where I'm from.
But so you were in New York at that time, and then built up your business and eventually moved to Texas.
Yeah.
Got it.
It started this way, where my intention for doing this business was not to make money or to hit a rank. It was, this does make sense. I'm already kind of telling people to do this anyway, but I'm not getting any compensation for it. And I'm helping people. And if this is a way that I now can help people who wouldn't have an opportunity to make any sort of income doing this, now they can, let's. So that's what I went from. And I just studied my butt off trying to figure everything out. And back then, 10 years ago, there was nothing free online. Nobody gave it free like you guys. Everybody made you pay. So I just constantly studied, and I was mostly stressed out and scared that the people I asked to do it with me were not going to know what to do and fail. And so that's why I just kept pushing hard, creating a lot of systems, websites. And one of the biggest things I'll leave with is that I knew that I'm not the expert. I'm not the one that knows this. And I can only tell these guys to do a certain amount of activity for so long before they're like, okay, what's next? And that's why I would earn some bonuses, because I did ask a lot of people. My foundational team is asking my 15 years of connections of people in the fitness industry, because that's my background as well. I asked a ton of people. So my team kind of grew like a big burst bubble initially, and we all needed to know what to do. So I kind of climbed the ranks easier because these guys were go-getters. They were like me. And the money I would earn in bonuses for climbing the ranks, I actually just reinvested back into the team and the business. Even so much so that I hired an expert in network marketing for 1 full year, paid a salary of over $100,000. There's a check circulating of me holding a $127,000 check that I got for a 3-month bonus. It's kind of crazy. Again, this stuff doesn't seem real to me, but it is. I reinvested that money back to the team, hiring that guy to help us know what to do. He traveled around to all the different cities, teaching my leaders to build a tribe and team. Because I knew I wouldn't know it, and I'm not going to play like I know it. And that's kind of the forming years of how I got started.
I love hearing that, because you knew early on, like, okay, this money is great, but it's because of my team. Mm-hmm. And you adopted that mentality, and I'm sure your team adopted that mentality. And that, sometimes you see in network marketing, people take a little too much credit for their success, and they forget that there was a company created, a vehicle in place. There's a team of people within the organization that work together to create the numbers, the volume, the rank of it. Like, nobody moves up in network marketing by themselves. And it's amazing that not only are you acknowledging that, but you took the money you were making and put it back into your business, back into training, mentorship. I mean, that in itself is pretty impressive, because most people don't figure that out till years later, that like, maybe I should like treat it like a real business, right? So what do you think gave you that mentality or that mindset to treat it like a real business, and have the acknowledgement that like, I need to take this money and reinvest it to make more money to help not just myself, but my team?
Yeah. It's not born in me, because I don't really have a high education. I went specifically to college for X-ray. So that's what my degree is specifically in. No marketing background, none of that stuff. All of it has been formed through mentors that I've worked with. So when I was working in the digital X-ray applications and sales, my mentor, Dennis, he taught me a lot about presenting, especially to kind of scary people. I would have to go and present $500,000 X-ray equipment to these doctors that are all staring at you, and I'm this like young little blonde girl coming in going, buy this, and excuse me. So I learned from him how to do presentations and how to, stand strong on what you believe in. And I believed in that product, as well as when working with Chalene Johnson throughout all of those years, those forming years. I'm not the person that I am now back then. Yeah. Even when I started with this business, I am not that girl either, thankfully, because we have to grow, and obviously a lot of personal development. But I wasn't doing this for money. When I joined, I told my husband I was going to join. His name's John as well, and he said he wanted nothing to do with it, because I was then just going to add another side gig on my plate. That's what I thought. So he wanted nothing to do with it. And because I wasn't doing it to create money and start buying cars and purses and stuff. I was just making money and putting it in the bank, because I grew up poor. I'm a hoarder of money, and I just like seeing the numbers. And so to put the money back into it, I think it's mostly because of the examples of my two mentors. Strongest one is the Dennis one, and then Chalene Johnson, teaching me how to treat people, and knowing that, what comes around goes around type of deal. Never burn bridges, and to really keep reinvesting in people. People, when you give yourself to them, that's where things thrive.
Well, what would you say to someone that's going, okay, great, I want to invest in myself. Like I need a coach, or, I want to attend this seminar or buy this course, or, whatever, but money is tight. It's the holidays. I got this bill and that bill, and it's hard to keep up. What do I do? What do you tell someone like that? Because I know what I'll tell them. I'd love to hear your insights on somebody that's questioning where they're going to come up with the money, or if it's worth investing money when they're broke.
Yeah, and we all are at a stage in our life where we're too busy and we're too broke for something. But if we really want something, we're going to find a way to do it. So mostly it's the vision. Whatever you're trying to decide that you want or feel is of value is, I think it's a matter of understanding what impact that will actually take for you forward. And I've invested thousands of dollars. I mean, I've worked with Brendan Burchard too, doing his $10,000 program, because I know that will always come back. And me, I have to grow. I can't do it myself by Googling the heck out of things. But when you don't have money, you will find a way. And I've given people multiple ways. Obviously, you can always charge it, because if you are going to put yourself in a little bit more of a negative, that's going to give you a lot more motivation to actually follow through and do what you say you're going to do. For those people that always want free or give it to me, they don't follow through because they're not.
So true.
So when you put yourself out there and you are going to take a hit, or you do ask family members, hey, can you give me money for my birthday presents this year or Christmas or whatever, so I can do this? Borrow money one way or another. There's got to be money that you can find, not just from your own bank account, but it could be in the red, but it's going to motivate you. And I'm not saying that people need to do what I did in the very beginning, because I would not have hired someone immediately for $100,000 plus if I didn't get it. So I wouldn't have done that. But I did put forward money towards what I felt was needed, like the webinar services and stuff like that.
Well, it is interesting because, there's so many people out there that, they want more money. They want a better lifestyle. They want to fire their boss. They've got these goals or things they'd love to accomplish, but it's just, it's the same old story. It's like their excuses are bigger than their reason to go out there and do it. And, you just got to ask yourself, like, what's more important, right? What's more important, the goal or the excuse? And, I know for us, in the early years, a lot like you, Nadya and I started early 20s. We didn't have any money or influence, and there was no social mediums back then, right? Like you just had to grind. You had to find ways to come up with money, and I couldn't extend my credit card. I had bad credit because I got a credit card at 18, moved to the beach, didn't pay the $20 minimum payment for 3 months. Like, I didn't know. They don't teach this stuff in school. And, it's just where there's a will, there's a way. And there's always a way to figure it out. And the thing is, you only have to be right once. You might fail 10 times, but if that 11th time you finally find a business that becomes profitable, you finally have your business take off, it'll all be worth it. But you hit the nail on the head with the vision part, because that really is the missing piece. And again, a lot of us have big goals, but our excuses are so big that we're not seeing the vision of, like, if I can just overcome this current situation, those excuses won't matter. Once I'm successful and I've got the business of my dreams and I can quit that job that I despise. And it's really just a matter of making those tough decisions and just figuring it out, right? As entrepreneurs, we make profits by helping others solve problems. So we have to figure out how to overcome our own problems if we want to be successful. And I also know, Christine, that you've had a lot of success using social media, especially Instagram. I believe that's your focus, and you built a fitness brand. So I don't know if you want to share some tips on your best advice for those of us that are using Instagram or using social media just in general to build online. But I would love for you to share a little bit about that as well, because I know things have evolved over the last 10 years, especially over the last 4 or 5 years with social media and building a home-based business.
Yeah, I am by no means of an expert of Instagram. I'm just putting a lot more focus on it, I think, because I was ignoring it for a while. I'd post up here and there, but I was kind of against the stories because I just looked at Instagram as very superficial, fake life perception and not reality. And that's not me. I'm a very real, honest, direct, down-to-earth person. No matter what's going on in our bank account, I'm still me. And I didn't connect with that world, and I didn't want to fake that world. So I actually ignored Instagram and kind of just gave it a bone every so often. But honestly, it's one, it's a beast, and you can't ignore it, especially because it is a strong one that people are focusing on. So I started to give more focus to it. Not an expert. I do things horribly wrong, and then sporadically 1, 2 good things. But I just know I try to stay as consistent as I can that aligns with my priorities. I'm not going to be putting up something just because I feel I have to, because I didn't put up anything for the day. If it's not good quality, I won't put it up. And stories actually is one area that I struggled with. But then I just said, this is honestly what I said. I thought, I'm just going to do what I want to do. I don't care about this blush colored, perfect young life, because I'm not a young girl anymore. I'm a mom of 2, mid-40s. That's not my target market. I'm going to do me. And what I was also doing was Snapchat. So Snapchat stories, I share everything over there more than anything than Instagram, because you do need to edit out for Instagram. And so I said, you know what? I'm just going to share my life there. It may not make sense to people. May be no rhyme or reason. I probably don't promote my business much enough over there. I'm just going to do what feels good for me just to get in that habit and keep tweaking. So when you look at social media as a whole, I started on social media on MySpace, trying to change the backgrounds and put music on with HTML code. Like, that was so horrible. and a blog.
Yeah.
YouTube. That's how I started. I did not want to get on Facebook because I didn't want to have to get on something else. And then I gave in finally in 2009 to Facebook. But where my role has always been with it is I'm never going to know everything and I can't be everywhere. So sure, I've got an account everywhere because I want my name, but I'm not going to be active trying to be Pavlov's dog on all of them. The biggest thing is just really strongly do one really well and then always have another one that you're kind of working on. But I think you really have to understand and build one really well. And that's going to constantly change. And that's by you studying all the time.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely love Facebook. Obviously, that's where we focus most of our time. But the cool thing is Facebook bought Instagram, and Instagram does have some features that are kind of neat. But still, for me, I'm like you. I mean, I like using social media, period, to build my business, right? And to me, it doesn't matter if I connect with someone on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, doesn't really matter where I connect with them. You know, people are people. I want to talk to people, get to know people, find people that I can relate to, or people that I would love to work with, or just build a relationship with. It's like I always say, friend first, marketer second. And it's important for people to understand that in order to have a partnership, right? Because we all want to, all us network marketers, we want to recruit, we want to get people, and it's better to give value and build relationships first before ever thinking that you can have a partnership. And I'm not saying you want to build rapport with people for 6 months, 2 years, and then just hope that one day they say, what do you do? Right. But I also feel like the whole copy and paste pitch, right? Just inboxing a bunch of people, hoping that someone responds is extremely ineffective these days. And it's only going to get harder and harder because, you know, these days, these social media platforms are blocking people that are doing that. You end up in Facebook jail and your account gets suspended. So we have to be real. We have to promote less and build more value, build up that audience. And I think obviously that's something that you've been doing for some time now. And I would love for you to maybe touch on, for those of us that want to build a team with 200,000 people one day, what do you think it takes on a consistent basis, like to develop that type of organization? And obviously for some people, they can't even imagine that. But maybe just start with what it took to build a team of 200.
Yeah. Well, let me just add on to that last part we were talking about with, are you looking over where I'm pointing? Because you looked that way when I pointed that way. Anyway, I'm a dog for anything.
Well, you know, my screen is actually flipped so they can read the words. So it could be confusing with where I'm looking. I don't know what you see versus what. All I know is they can now read this because I flipped my screen.
Yeah. So to touch on that last part about social media, before I had anything to offer people, before I was in network marketing and could sell someone something, that's what my social media presence was. So on MySpace and on YouTube and on my blog, it was completely helpful, value driven. It was helping people with their workouts or just showing them a trick, or this is something I found online or somewhere. But that's 100% what my content was. And I don't think that people really kind of can separate that sometimes. They either think they have to be all value driven, or they have to just really take a bunch of pretty pictures, pose, pretending like someone's in the bushes taking a picture of them, that they have to put them up to compete with other people.
Do you ever wonder, though, some of those pictures, you're like, who took that picture?
I know. And now I'm like, I'll do one, and I'm like, this is dumb. Like, you know, just taking a look. Nope, I don't see
You're like looking over yonder. Yeah, I get it. Yeah.
No, but to go from thinking of, oh my gosh, to build a multi-7-figure income or a team of over 200, whatever, I didn't think that. I think it's about really looking at who can you impact in a small, immediate circle of influence, and start from there. Because if you try to say, okay, I got to get my Instagram account up to 50,000, or I got to sign 10 new people up into the company this month. If you start setting these goals that are just really big numbers, it's like, this month I'm going to lose 50 pounds. That's unrealistic. You really break it down to focus just on the mission of who are you talking to? Who can you personally want to help? I really wanted my closest friends to do this with me too, my family, because I wanted us all to kind of grow this life together. And thankfully so, because now that I have money, they have free time, we all can go vacation together when we want. We didn't have that option before. But if I didn't ask them to do it, it wouldn't have been a start. So I'm not looking at, I'm going to grow this 200,000 team. I have no idea how that actually happened, because I just know I signed up on one day. And I asked a ton of people, you should check this out too. And then they did the same. It will just start to move forward. But the big area that I know I focused on initially is I can't help it but think of systems. And that's translated when I was an X-ray tech. I used to fix all the digital X-ray equipments and all that stuff. That when there's something that people don't know how to do or understand, they immediately will complain, or they'll say, I'm not going to do it. And with all of those things, so when the X-ray equipment broke down, or when someone was resistant to learning something brand new, I always created a simple cheat sheet, step-by-step, with pictures system. It's just where my mind goes. How can I make sure that people can just follow, plug and play? And I translated this over to this business as well, coming from my previous businesses, that as long as people have something to follow, they're going to plug in if you don't make it too complicated. It just has to be simple. Like the ATM, that's simple. And I think of it, because I'm obviously now in your program, that I think of it now when I tell someone, oh, I'll just add you in the group. Add. And then I'll tag you on the video. Like, I start thinking that stuff because it's simple and it's duplicable as well.
Yeah, and it's like you're basically teaching them from the minute you're exposing them to the opportunity, the products, the group, whatever. You're saying all you have to do is what I'm doing with you right now.
Yeah.
And that's the simplicity that creates duplication. And it, like you said, it's hard to imagine like one day having a team of 1,000, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000. You know, it's hard to imagine that, but it starts with you talking to everybody and their brother, and marrying the process, divorcing the result. And that's, you know, it sounds so good. It's like, that's exactly what I'm going to do. But then you go out there and you actually start talking to people, and it's painful, man. Like, you know, when you're brand new, I remember those days. I'm sure you still remember those, Christine. Like, some of the people that turn you down in the beginning, they're kind of mean about it, or they start, you know, telling other people about the thing you're doing. Like, hey, if John calls you, don't answer, right? And, you know, you start to take that stuff personally.
Yeah.
And you just, as easy as it is to say, it's much harder to do, but you have to not care. Because you know what? A lot of those people are just miserable, or they simply don't believe that things like that are possible, which is why they don't even bother. So they just assume that you won't have success either, because they aren't willing to try it for themselves, or they tried something like that and, you know, they were let down. It didn't work out, and they just assume that you're gonna waste their time, or you're gonna go out there and have success. And actually, that's sometimes an even bigger fear, right? People are thinking they might go have success without me. Yeah. Oh my gosh, like that would really hurt, right? So you just have to go out there and have fun with it. I think loosen up a little bit. A lot of people, they do put a lot of pressure on themselves, and they beat themselves up because they're like, oh, I did a video, but I didn't do a good job. Or I prospected my neighbor, and I don't know what I said to him. I messed it up. Like, I'm not even going to bother. You just learn from all your failures, all your mistakes, and you just improve along the way. And like you said, as you start to form out this team, you build out this organization, you got to get systems dialed in, because at some point you're going to have people coming into your business that are 3, 5, 10, 15, 20, 100, 1,000 levels removed from you. And they need to have that same opportunity that you had with the tools and the resources, because you can't work with and support everybody.
No, you brought up a great point about the aspect with being yourself, and talking on your stories this morning with the tree driving around. It was like a perfect example. And that's, I think, one of the cornerstones that a lot of people have to look at with themselves, is sometimes it is scary putting yourself out there. And you do hear everyone say, just be you and people will love you. Well, that is a truth to a degree. But one thing also that I know I did is I didn't conform to what the company, my parent company, was teaching everyone to do, because I didn't agree with it. It was traditionally very old school network marketing techniques. And for me, I was, you know, pregnant with my second child. I didn't want to sit at dinner tables with people with a flip chart every night. I didn't want to do that. So they were very against social media. When I first started, there's actually one of the main trainers on there. We butted heads because I hired my own person to help me with network marketing, but also because he was a strong person saying it has to be belly to belly. But I was like, I want to do this virtually. My team wants to do this virtually. And that's the place I stood from, is building online, because I need to do what was right for me. But the other thing, when you talked about, you know, being yourself and really just connecting with people with who you are, that was also a challenge that I had, because you constantly question yourself on, is this right? Is this right? And when I first started doing webinars, which I didn't even know what that meant when I first started, they're like, yeah, you'll run webinars. I'm like, what's a webinar? I had no idea. But when I first started doing them, I was told by some of my peers, you need to soften yourself. You need to speak softer, because I have a very strong voice. I have a deeper voice. And I am very direct with my bullet points, that I was very rigid and just a different person that I changed because they told me. And so I started running these webinars. Hi, this is Christine. You guys are going to be talking about this. I changed because they said I had to, but that's not me. Again, we're going to attract like, and just own you, as long as it's always a way for improving yourself and not this, I don't know. I guess some people are attracted to the unfiltered side, the really unfiltered sides, but some.
Yeah, but are those the people you really want to attract anyway, right? Like superficial, fake. Yeah, I mean, it's interesting because I remember in my early years, people would say, oh, you got to slow it down. You talk too fast. Yeah. Especially when I started doing a lot of presentations around like 2008-ish, 2009, lots of meetings. And I just had my presentation so down, like I knew all my punchlines, all my little tidbits, right? The little examples and analogies, and like, let's help y'all get an MBA, massive bank account, work your face off. Like I had all these little things, and people would be like, oh, you got to slow it down. And I would try to slow it down. I would try to, work it a little slower for people, right? Work my presentation a little slower, and it just wasn't me. So I totally agree with you. I think you just have to, and again, there's that fine line, right? Because you want to work on yourself, you want to improve, it's all good, but you're not going to appeal to everybody. That's actually the number one way to fail, is trying to please everybody, right? It's just, you're going to, when you're trying to do attraction marketing on social media, or you're out there prospecting, you're just leading an organization of people, you're gonna have different personalities. Yeah. And in order to attract the type of person you want, like a magnet, you're simultaneously repelling a lot of people, and you just, who cares, man? Like, let them go do their thing. You go find the people that you enjoy working with. And I think that's a big reason why you've been successful, because it's clear you have your tribe of people that you adore them, they adore you, you work well together, and you built that community and that team camaraderie. And, sometimes in the beginning, we're a little desperate, right? We want everybody to join. We don't want anybody to quit. We're like hovering over our people like Mama Bear. And it's like, you know what? If that person isn't happy, or they're not a part of what we're trying to do here, like, let them go. There's plenty of other people out there looking for what we've got, and people wanting another income stream, right? So it's just like, having that belief that they're out there, and being patient while being persistent at the same time. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, and you definitely don't need to always just focus on the perfect person who is your tribe, because there is plenty of people on my team that is not like me, and I probably wouldn't want to hang out with at dinner somewhere. But one strong area I know I focused on is removing the toxicity. So this is something that is going to graduate as you improve yourself in your own personal growth and development, is recognizing what is important to you. And even to a point where I've unfollowed paying attention to people who are even in the same business as myself here, because I don't agree with their direction of focus. They've got a family and they're gone all the time. That's not me. I'm very family oriented. And
same.
I don't want to put people in and around me that are so negative, don't see possibility. And for those people that come with me with objections of, well, this is something you have to convince me with. No, I don't need to convince, because I don't ever need to convince anyone to do anything. That's a place of negativity. That person's not going to fit, and I know they're going to bring me down even further if they were on the team. So you're going to have those people, but you want to control that. But it first starts with you.
Love them from a distance. That's what I always say.
Yeah.
Yeah, not someone you want to hang out with, but love them from a distance. It's, if you want to build a big business, you're absolutely going to have all those different personalities. Like, 200,000 people. There is no way everyone is going to be as serious, have the same integrity, have the same personality. In fact, you probably are going to have a lot more people that don't fit that perfect ideal, leader type of person that really wants to go out there and build a business. In fact, what is it? Probably 3-4% of the people that are within an organization, any given network marketing business, are actually looking to build a 6 or 7 figure business, right? Like most people are just looking for supplemental income. Yeah. Most people are just looking to maybe at the most replace the income they make in their job, at least in the beginning. Yeah. Now down the road, let's say they get the 3, 4, 5 grand a month. Now maybe they're like, I wonder if I can get to 10, right? But in the beginning, like to me, when I first started, I was like 10,000 a month. I would feel like a millionaire. Like 10,000 a month would be like, the mecca. Like, oh my gosh, if I could ever make that kind of money, that would be incredible. Yeah. But in the beginning, honestly, it was like, man, if I could just make my money back, that would be super. Yeah. Right? Like your goals change over time.
It's a delicate place, especially, since you guys are very successful, that when you are talking with people that sometimes they feel that is the direction that they have to go, that they have to go to a full-time business with multi-income. Yep. But I know for myself in this business, there's multiple ways you can do this. There's no one way is the right way or wrong. And so if you're fine with, doing this little thing on the side and bringing in extra money per month because it helps support childcare or whatever, that's great. That's a great place to be from. And you never need to grow a big team or huge income. The potential possibility is there, but quite honestly, not everybody is going to be able to stand forward and lead. So they may strongly stand in a place of a huge supporter, and that's the place they'd like to be. And that's a great place to be. It's just identifying it and accepting it for yourself and not feeling like you have to skyrocket all the way up.
Yeah, I mean, most of the people that get involved in a home-based business, I think, are just, their desire level is just, to be a part of something else. Like they love the team atmosphere. I mean, you think about most people's jobs, most people, what they do for a living, it's not exciting, and I think that's where we have to show the fun side of network marketing. We have to show that yes, it's a challenging business, but if we make it like it's not fun or enjoyable, well, then people are thinking, okay, hold on. So I have a job that sucks, or I have a job that I dislike, right? Like maybe they love their job, but like they don't like the limited money they make, right? Whatever the situation is, they don't want to say, oh, now let me go join Christine or John or whoever in this other bit. And then that's also going to be something I don't enjoy, right? Like it needs to be more than just about making money, right? And that's where, having a great product or making sure it's fun or making sure you identify whatever their personality is. And, it is easy really once you become a leader. And I'm sure you're a lot like me where you can kind of tell within just a couple weeks, someone's commitment level, like, someone's potential. Like if I have to chase after somebody that joins, they're probably not the person that I'm looking for, but I'll still be there to support them, right? I never give up on anybody, but that's not your runner. Right? It's hard to find someone. It can be a challenge sometimes to find someone that actually wants to work hard and they have the potential to go out there and make things happen. Because it's like I always say, everybody wants to go to heaven. Nobody wants to die, right? Like everybody wants success, but when it takes that daily discipline, that's a whole different thing. So do you have any final thoughts, Christine? Because obviously a lot of people are seeing you for the first time and they're hearing your story, and I can see a lot of positive comments. So are you guys getting some value from Christine? Smash that heart button if you are. But I would love for you to maybe share or close out with any final thoughts that you think could really help someone that is in a situation where they're like, you know what, I want a big business. I want that freedom income. I'm freedom motivated. I want the business that you guys have created. What would be your final maybe pieces of advice for them?
Yeah. First, it has to first start from yourself and knowing that you're going to be a work in progress, that you don't know it all, no matter what success you've had in the past. And knowing that you have to be coachable. That's first. If you come to the table with constant excuses, you're just shooting yourself right on down. And the person that you're working with wants you to be a success. So they're not making it like difficult by telling you to do certain activity because they want to make your life miserable. They want you to be a success. And if you come to the table making excuses and constantly falling out of being a part of it, that's only hurting yourself. And that's something that you personally need to work on for your own mindset first. It is first about you believing in yourself and what you're working for. And you don't need to have a huge following. You don't need to have, tons of people joining you in the beginning, but you just need to be strong with staying forward with what you're passionate about and that you're improving. Improving doesn't always mean Or success doesn't always mean money. So it doesn't mean that, oh, I'm making tons of money now, I'm a success. Being successful in this is going to look so many different ways, and it's about you recognizing that you're staying forward with that. But one of the strongest points of actually following through is layering yourself with different levels of accountability. And I wanted to share this example of when I was an X-ray tech, I was miserable, so much so I'd cry driving to work in the mornings. I hated it so bad. Not that the job is
Wow.
the environment that I was working in. And I desperately tried to get pharmaceutical sales jobs because I thought pharmaceutical salespeople were rich, and that's what I wanted to do. And so I needed a bachelor's degree, and I tried to go to one of those study-at-home colleges, and I signed up for marketing, and I bought the books, and I could never even read the first chapter or do the first assignment, and wasted thousands of dollars paying for it because there's no accountability there. That's completely my effort to do. And if I look at all the areas in my life now that I've actually followed through with what I said I wanted to do, it's because I felt very accountable to someone or a lot of things. And that's why aligning up more than your spouse or your partner, whomever, is not the person. Because you can boss them around when you want to boss them around. So that person's not it. It kind of has to be someone that you look up to or that you're paying for, and they are a success, because there's going to be a little level of kind of like nervous fear, scared that you don't want to disappoint them. So it's not that
yes, exactly.
You don't want to disappoint them, and you want to move forward. That's one of the best ways, is to have a system of that accountability to move forward and what you say you're going to do, and to have it drawn out. It's got to be.
That's really good. You know, I always tell people work backwards. You know, look at the goal, the rank you want to hit, the kind of income you want to make, and kind of work backwards what it's going to take to make that a reality. And, you know, it's funny because I think Tony Robbins says, you know, it's amazing what you can accomplish in 10 years, right? How people, you know, they can't even imagine what they could do in even 5 years, but they have these huge expectations of what they can do in just 12 months, right? So you got to be careful not to get too frustrated over comparing yourself to someone else. Or, you know, I always say, don't compare your chapter 1, 2, 3, 4 to someone else's, you know, 10, 15, 20, right? Like someone like Christine, someone like myself that's been doing this a long time. We were in your shoes. We were in a situation where we didn't see the potential of you know, the huge amount of it. Like, you know, we couldn't imagine making, or maybe you could, I don't know. For me, in the very beginning, I could not imagine making 7 figures, but I also knew I didn't want to do what everybody else was doing. Like a lot of my friends had jobs they didn't love, or they're going to college, getting degrees. And I'm like, I don't think that's for me. I didn't even know how to spell entrepreneur, but I knew that I didn't want to be an employee, right? Like I knew I wanted to do something different. So I was open-minded, but it was having to be coachable, having the work ethic, like just continuing to do the things that I was being taught, even when companies were shut down on me, even when things didn't look so glorious, right? Like, I'm sure you've been in that situation where you're like, I don't know if this is for me. Throw your hands up. Maybe I need to quit. Maybe I need to go do something else. But you just keep going because you go, you know what? What if eventually, if I just keep going, what if eventually it does work out and I am able to have the success that others are having? And it is funny because when you hang out with really successful people, you realize they're normal just like you. It's just the difference is they didn't quit. They kept going even when they were at a crossroads, just like some of us, where they could have said, you know what, I think I'm gonna go back to my job or go back to school, or, you know, maybe this entrepreneur journey isn't for me, but they didn't do that. And now they're this massive success. So it's really just believing that your goal is worth it. Your dream is worth it. You're worthy of success. And you know what? Find a good coach, find a good mentor, plug into people that are, you know, they have the lifestyle, not just the money. I love that you touched on that. They don't just have the money, but they have the lifestyle you desire, because that's what's most important to me. It's like making a bunch of money. I've made a lot of money doing other things, but I wasn't fulfilled. I wasn't happy, and I wasn't feeling like a great parent either. And to me, like you said, I'd rather be a great dad, a great parent. I'd rather be there with my family than to make a bunch of money. So, Christine, I appreciate you. You're amazing.
Oh, thank you. But just to share that, in the very beginning of growing this business, I didn't see that. I was a vacant mom, and that's where it's a learning process. I think in a nutshell, to leave anything with everyone, is just know that, you know what, this is a growing process. and your level of who you become is not just deciding to do network marketing or do another job. I'm a completely different person in relationships, professionally. But what if the company I'm with now shuts doors? What would I do? I'm not scared. I'm not going to run to another network marketing company and build again. I've now got so many skills equipped in myself that I could create my own thing and stand alone and be confident in that. So you're going to develop yourself way more than just looking at this as a business that you're going to try and do.
So true. Personal development is everything.
Yeah.
I mean, we had a company, I don't know if you know this, I think I told you this. We had a company that went out of business in just 2015. They got shut down. And, I was obviously not thrilled about it, right? You lose a 6-figure income like that. You're like, okay, that sucks. But within 24 hours, it's like, okay, what's next? And we had other income streams, right? We built a brand. That's why I tell everybody, I'm like, build a brand, build an audience, pour into them, make it about them, help them serve that audience. Because if you do and you build it up over time, it's not going to matter if one business goes out of business, or it's not going to matter if you have something happen with your one income stream or your full-time because you have this audience of people that trusts you.
Yeah.
And you can always rebuild. You can always find other things to do to monetize the audience you built and do it in a way that is in their best interest, right? You can do it in a way that has a lot of integrity. And obviously that's what Chalene Johnson's done, right? Like when she launches something, when she promotes something, we all listen because we trust her. Right. And we trust the things that she's suggesting to us. And that does take time, right? Building trust. I mean, those of you that are in a relationship, the person that you trust the most, that you love the most, you probably didn't trust them the first day, the first week, the first month as much as you do today. So trust is something you build up over time. And that's when it comes down to, showing up consistently and doing the things you said you're going to do. And I know, Christine, that's why you've had so much success, because like you said, it wasn't really that you had quick success in your business. It was that you had been building up those relationships and those connections over time. So when you did finally launch something, they were like, girl, we're in, right? And you didn't even want to do network marketing until somebody you trusted said, hey, I think you need to take a serious look at this.
Yeah,
that's great.
Totally. Yeah, great.
I love it. Yep. Well, I could talk to you all day, Christine. I love talking to people that are in the abundant mindset and, have worked on themselves over the years and have created a lot of success, not just for themselves, but for so many of the people they work with and support. So I'm excited for the next Platinum Edge event. Yay! And any closing thoughts?
No, I just, again, very appreciative of you guys, because ever since I've come to know you, you really start to latch on to people who just get it. And the amount of value, and just more than the trainings that you guys offer, it's just a positive light of energy. And energy is very attractive to people. So that's the biggest advice. Your energy, not just talking about John, but I'm talking to everybody here. Your energy is going to be everything, and generating that, especially when you are presenting or speaking online. Some days you're going to have a bad day, but if you're going to put yourself out there, generate energy, because that's what people are attracted towards.
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that. Energy is everything. Absolutely. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times people hit me up. They're like, oh, I just love your energy and Nadya's energy. She's so funny. And you guys are like, and I know it's because it's kind of like what I talked about before. That's my personality, like talking fast, lots of energy, and trying to tone it down a little bit because there's a handful of people that don't like the high energy. That's a mistake. Be you. Keep it 100. Obviously, you need to show up online with energy anyway, because you're online, right? You need to have more energy. But yeah, I think that's a really important piece, is the energy piece, right? Like if I hit someone up and say, hey, I got this thing, you might be interested. It's like, nah, I don't think so. Like you need to bring that enthusiasm to everything you're doing. So Christine, I appreciate you. You're amazing. And just excited for us to continue building this relationship over time. Tell John I said hi.
Thank you, you guys too. And thanks everyone for being on here.